The sun was high and harsh over the dusty grounds of the rural county auction, casting long, sharp shadows across forgotten items, broken tools, and stories no one remembered. The kind of place where the world's leftovers were sold for pennies. And yet, for one man, retired Master Sergeant William Bill Carter, it would be the beginning of something far more important than he could have imagined. He didn't mean to stop that day. He'd just been driving. Driving to nowhere, really. That's what he often did when the silence in his cabin became too loud. He'd left the house early, coffee in a travel mug, seatbelt clicking into place like the only orderly thing in his life. His old truck grumbled down the two-lane road, the radio off, the air heavy. He had no real destination, just the ache of needing movement, distraction, escape. Bill hadn't spoken to a human being in 3 days. At the auction yard, everything smelled of rust and old grease. Children played under the sun, unaware of the weight adults carried. There were tractors, bird cages, stacks of books, shipped furniture, dented license plates. And then, half hidden behind a stack of old tires, was the thing that stopped Bill cold. A dog cage. Old. Rusty. Bent at the corner. But not just any cage, it was large, reinforced, professional. The kind used for police or military dogs. Something about it felt familiar. It was like finding an old uniform folded in a thrift store bin. Not yours, but belonging to someone who knew what you'd known. Without knowing why, Bill walked toward it. The auctioneer's voice faded behind him. Dust stuck to his boots. His heart thumped slowly, curiously. The cage was marked with a worn-out metal tag. K9 Unit Duke retired. The name hit him like a hammer to the chest. Duke. His breath caught. 10 years ago, there had been a military dog named Duke in his unit, a fearless German shepherd trained to detect explosives and protect soldiers. That Duke had saved his life during a roadside ambush in Iraq. They got separated during the chaos of evacuation. Bill had never seen him again. It couldn't be the same dog. It was probably just coincidence. Still. He raised his hand as the auctioneer called, $5 for this old cage, anyone? Sold. He didn't even know why he'd bought it. Just instinct. If you're someone who believes in the power of second chances, the loyalty of animals, or the silent ways they save our lives, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Because this story will remind you of the quiet heroes we so often overlook. Back at his cabin, he hauled the cage out of the truck, scraping it onto his porch. The sun caught on a hidden corner, glinting just enough to reveal something tucked underneath. A scrap of paper folded, old, and yellowed with time. He pulled it out carefully and unfolded it. The handwriting was steady but rushed. It read, "If you're reading this, then you bought Duke's cage. He was more than a police dog, he was my partner, my only family. Duke saved lives, but they forgot him when he got old. I had to let him go. I didn't want to. I'm sorry. Please don't let him be forgotten. He deserved more than to die alone. Officer M. Daniels." Bill sat down slowly, knees cracking as he lowered himself onto the porch steps. His calloused fingers gripped the note, trembling. Something cracked open inside him. Was it his Duke? Could it really be? Over the next few days, the question haunted him. He couldn't sleep. He kept reading the note, memorizing the words. The cage sat like a monument on his porch. He began cleaning it, sanding the rust, repainting it a deep, respectful black. With each pass of the brush, he remembered moments, Duke running alongside their Humvee, barking alerts, lying silently beside wounded soldiers. Bill dug through the records, police department rosters, K9 retirements, old public logs. It was tedious, but he was a soldier, he knew how to search. He found Officer Melissa Daniels. She had served in the K9 unit for over a decade. She had partnered with a German shepherd named Duke, certified in narcotics detection and rescue operations. Retired in 2016. After that, the records went cold. And yet, it could have been the same dog. Military dogs often got reassigned to police work. The timelines matched. The name matched. He had to find out. At the same time, a strange pull brought him to the local animal shelter. He didn't go in looking to adopt. He told himself he was just looking, just passing by. But as he wandered through the aisles of barking and whimpering, one kennel stopped him cold. A large, black German shepherd with gray along the snout sat silently, watching him. Not barking. Just watching. Shadow, the tag read. The shelter volunteer walked up. He's been here a while. Too old, some say. Doesn't trust easy. But, he's smart. Real smart. Bill knelt. Shadow walked over slowly and rested his head on Bill's knee. They went home together that day. The early days were quiet. Shadow didn't bark or whine. He followed Bill from room to room, settled in corners, watched him cook. And at night, he lay at the foot of the bed. Then one night, Bill woke screaming memories of explosions, fire, and loss gripping his chest. Gasping for air, he swung his feet to the floor and found Shadow there, leaning into him, pressing against his leg like a rock. He hadn't had a full night's sleep in years. But that night, after the panic subsided, he did. Every day, the bond grew. Shadow wasn't just a dog. He was something deeper, like a quiet echo of the past coming home. Bill fixed up the cage, cleaned the porch, and even started attending a veterans group in town. He told them about Duke. And about the note. Weeks later, a local kid got lost during a hike. Volunteers were sent out. Bill joined them with Shadow. Hours passed, hope fading. Then Shadow stiffened, sniffed the air, and bolted into the woods. 10 minutes later, he led the rescuers to the boy, scared, dehydrated, but alive. Shadow became a hero. Just like Duke. Bill started visiting schools, sharing stories about service, sacrifice, and the dogs who served beside men like him. He brought the cage, to now a restored memorial, with Duke's nameplate and the note framed above it. The final piece was Officer Daniels. It took months, but he found her in Oregon. Retired early. Lived alone. Bill wrote to her gently, respectfully. Told her everything. About the auction. About the note. About the dog who might have been Duke. About Shadow. She called him. Her voice cracked with grief and disbelief. I've lived with guilt for years, she said. I never knew what happened to him. They met in person weeks later. She wept when she saw the cage, ran her fingers across the tag, and whispered stories about their time together. Shadow leaned into her as if he remembered, too. Maybe he did. Maybe Duke had found his way back, not in body, but in spirit. Bill and Melissa became close. They organized a small memorial for retired service animals in their town. A stone bench. A plaque. And a promise that no dog who served would ever be forgotten again. If this story touched your heart, if you believe animals can change us, heal us, and even return to us in mysterious ways, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Your support helps us keep these stories alive. Special request. Have you ever had an animal come into your life at exactly the right moment? Please share your story in the comments. We read every one and they mean the world to us.